Okay, cool. So hopefully you're all here today because you want to understand more about our digital transformation for waste and environmental services. We've been working quite hard over the last few years providing transformation services for waste and environmental and doing a pretty reasonable job. So I just want to spend an hour of your time going through what we can do, how we can achieve it, and how the customers have benefited from what we do. So hopefully you've heard about Abavus. The fact you're on this call means you probably are. We've been going now since 2011, so a good 10 years in the market. And for an IT company, that's quite a long history, believe it or not. We specialize in councils and local government. That is our forte. We've never really deviated from that approach. And it's worked well because we have a good understanding of what councils want to achieve, what they don't want to achieve, and where their pinch points are. We focus on areas, environmental services, revenues and benefits, planning, a lot of work in public protection, and a lot of work in highways as well. So My Council Services isn't just a waste services product, it's a product that's end-to-end for all the council's services and facilities. Everyone that works for us has a real industry expertise. So what that means is they've worked for the council, they've spent 20 years plus in that sector, in that job. So they know the pain points, they know the legislation, they know how difficult decisions can be, how tough it can be working for a council with councillors and customers pulling you in two different directions. So we understand what it's really like to do your job. So we only work with and only hire real industry experts. The platform itself is very flexible. It doesn't require you to take the whole of the platform. You can just take a handful of our modules and then make that fit your solution. You don't have to go complete My Council Services. You can pick the areas that suit what you need. And then I suppose the final bit, we've got 18 million customers. I'm not too sure how valid that is. It's probably a lot more in the last few weeks. Since COVID, we've seen a massive explosion of customers logging onto the platform, doing things digitally, doing things for themselves. And once they've done it once, they keep coming back and trying again and again and again. So 1 million plus customers, but transacting on a regular basis, not just one-offs now. So just a few example local authorities. I think we've got about 50 plus, I forget the exact number now, but here's just a few. You'll see these, so if they're local neighbours, feel free to give them a call, get some honest feedback, how we're doing, what we're doing, what went well, what went bad. And then I think that's a good testament for us. Challenges to waste management. So it's difficult waste. It's not that easy to do, believe it or not. All you've got to do is go and pick up a bin. Fantastic. That's not half the story. So it's very resource intensive. It requires lots of people to add rounds, to manage the information, to go and collect the rubbish, to do with complaints, broken wheelie bins, delivering wheelie bins. There's a lot of people involved in just collecting a bin. It takes a lot of people, takes a lot of money, takes a lot of expertise to deal with this sort of thing. It's very lacking in automation. At the moment, it's very much one person passes a piece of paper to another person, they drive out, they go and collect it, they come back, they empty it. It's a very human process. It's difficult for crews to manage missed collections, the contaminated collections. From all of our customers, probably 40% of all the calls and complaints that come in is due to a missed bin request. So it's either genuinely you have missed it, which is obviously quite hard to work out the difference between missed or not, or it's got a contaminated and it wasn't out. So managing that process is very difficult, and half the time the contact center just says, okay, we're sorry, because it's got no way of really confirming how that actually happened. Onto unvalidated collections. So customers can choose a number of channels to make complaints. So you go onto Twitter now, you just type in, council and bin, you'd see more tweets about that than the latest news on TV. It's a hot topic, and it's a really easy way for you to, bash your council, and you have to act upon it. You don't want to be seen to not doing it. And half time, it isn't your fault. Generally, they haven't pulled it out. I saw one from my local council, they've missed this poor bloke's bin 11 times. I'm sure they haven't missed it 11 times. It's quite hard to miss it twice, let alone 11 times. So unvalidated collection is very difficult to manage. Lacking innovation. So when we work with all our different councils, we understand what current solutions they've got. It is very lacking. They haven't really gone down the whole automation approach. They've got what they've got. They've dealt with it. They're not really a fan of IT and automating solutions. So there isn't really that grunt to really push a innovative solution. And then there's a lot of data that you collect, and the analysis of this data just doesn't happen. There isn't the information systems to produce those graphs for you. So there's probably 6 reasons I've just given you. There's probably hundreds of more reasons why we feel waste management is very difficult to manage. So where is the current challenges for IT? So everyone's gone out in the late 80s, they've got a stack of money from the government, gone out and spent a few £1 million on IT, and pretty much that's where most people are at now. They've got expensive hardware, they've got this supplier, that supplier, so it's quite cumbersome, it's convoluted, you've got several portals, you've got this company doing that part of the process, you've got this outsourced part, you've got internally doing that part, you've got another council doing half of your order collection. It's very difficult, and you're trying to make it work with bits of sticky tape. It's not easy. Suppliers providing their own elements. This is another nightmare we come across quite a lot. So where you go out and you get your waste contractor in, they will say, we've got our own waste system. You've got to integrate into that. So you take your front end, you try to glue it to the back end, and they're completely different. They talk different languages. It's a nightmare. We've done a lot of work over the last years integrating our front end into third-party contractors' waste end. We've done a lot of work integrating third-party front end with our back office waste end. It can be difficult. And as long as everyone's on a modern IT system, it's not too bad. It's when you're on legacy systems do you start running into issues and you start having to manage how these things work. The systems they implement are very inflexible. They do one thing one way, and then that is it. If you want to change to that system, there's a lot of bureaucracy to go through. And just because you want that way of working, most other IT vendors don't really want to work that way because they've got 20 other customers that are happy with how the system works. So they're very inflexible. And then the other thing that battles the councils across the board is the constant change in legislation. It's a nightmare for the citizens to understand what's going on, let alone you guys having to implement that in an IT system that doesn't really want to work that way. So you've got a lovely automated system, the government brings out some new law, and you then have to visually eyeball every single request that comes in because that's where you have to do it. So it's around finding what is acceptable from a legislation point of view, and also a political point of view, I suppose. If you get a phone call from a councillor saying they'd like it collected today, it can be a tough decision and a call to say, sorry, that's not on our list this week, we'll do it next week. So it's a difficult job, and IT has to be flexible to make sure that we can deliver these areas. So our response to waste management transformation. So we offer a seamless solution. So it's a platform that fits with the customers using their existing mobile app, to the contact center, through to the back office teams, hopefully in an automated way, so the back office teams don't have to do anything at all the way to the waste operator with a dedicated app purely just for them, where they can manage the screens and information they want to see and understand. So more of a visually designed solution where you can just tap one click and it goes away. So from customer to crew, all in one seamless IT solution, no integration end to end. Modular based, so some customers have got just use us for garden waste, others use it for trade. You can pick what solution you need to support your council. So domestic, refuge, nappies, that's kind of the bread and butter of what we normally do. But then you've got extra bits, bulky collections, trade collections, and so forth. You can add those in. And often when we go live with customers, we tend to phase those in. Don't go live all at the same time. So the modular approach is very, very tried and tested and provides a really nice, easy way for you to work. Flexible, I don't think we have a customer doing the same thing the same way. They are all completely, completely different. Not all customers adhere to a single process. They have got their process for their government, for their politics, for their land base, for their particular community. So our platform is very, very flexible. You can do the same thing 20 different ways. It's your way. We don't want you to have to change the IT system. We want the system to match what you do. It's very affordable what we offer. There are systems out there that cost a few £1 million. We've been there, we've seen them. We're not delegating them at all, but they're very expensive. It's a lot of money. It doesn't need to be now. With IT, with modern-based IT systems, with iPhones and Android devices, there are more cost-effective solutions out there. So there's no point being the most expensive waste management system in the world. We like to try to get you live and up and running and cost neutral within 1 year. So very, very affordable. Even something as simple as just reducing your fuel bill by doing optimization of your routes, that you can probably save the money that we charge you for this solution. So we try to be cost neutral within 1 year. So we offer 3 different operating models. So the first model that we offer is customer to crew. That is our full solution. So the customer raises a request via the contact center portal or via the app. It then goes through to the automated planning. It gets through to the automated optimization, and then the crews just in the morning type in what round they're doing, and then they deliver that round. So that's full-blown automation. We do another solution where it's customer portal only. So this is where you've got an outsourced delivery of your waste services. So we will be the front end for that. The customer can go on, book and pay for a service, special collection or bulky collection. They can do a mist bin, they can report an issue, they can subscribe to a garden waste solution. This is all handled on our platform. We have a contract that manages all that information. And the final part is we push you over to the waste contractor via integration. Once they've completed the work, we then take feedback from that system and we push it back to the customer. So that's only the front end bit and the management bit with the delivery of the other company doing the work. We can integrate into several companies. So you may have one that does refuge, you may have one that does residual collections, and you may have another organization that does trade. We can be the hub that interface into those 3 solutions. I've done that quite a few times now. And the final one is engine only. So this one's quite an interesting one. More and more now, we're seeing more councils being merged into a shared service capability. So if you get several councils come together that have their own front end, their own IT system, their own politics, their own ways of doing things, they've merged now into a single waste organization. They themselves farm the collection of this information out to a third-party waste management company. So we become the hub as such. So every single council part of this organization will send their data to us. We do analysis on that, optimize the data, clean it up, ensure it's a consistent format. Then we push it into the third-party waste contractor. They complete the information and we push it then back out to the individual councils. So it's a hybrid solution. It's where a council wants to keep their front end, they want to keep their different outsourced providers across different councils as well. It's important to mention that enables you to keep your own branding. So if you're Council A and your branding's red, and then Council B's branding is blue, that citizen logging on will be familiar with their own branding. They won't see another council confusing them. So there's 3 solutions there. 1, we manage everything. 2, manage the front end, and 3, we manage the middle. So we've got several examples of what we've done with these, all of them working really well, all of them equally, equally a good offering, depending on what your needs are. So what do we offer? What services? So we call these contracted waste services. So waste for garden or green collection is a contracted services, and trade waste, same thing as well. So this is where a customer wants a service, a collection. They want it for a year, they want to pay X amount of money for it, and you agree that 52 times a year you will collect their rubbish. So the contracted waste services is something where the customer goes on, self-serves, pays via credit card or via direct debit, and then you have to deliver the work. Scheduled waste services are where you pay your council tax, and thrown in with that is a collection service. Things like sharps and clinicals, domestics, recycling, and nappies, typically the types of service we offer. Other ones, I suppose, pumpkin services and Christmas trees, you could argue that they're scheduled as well. Bulk waste services, so this is where you phone up and you'd say, right, I've got a collection that I'd like, can you come and collect it? It can be paid or it can be free, depending upon what your service offering is. So for clinical, I don't know, if you've got some chemotherapy at home, something like that, you've got a large amount of waste products, you will bag it, tag it, and then you go online, you'd say, I'd like my waste collected. You select the date and the time, and then you go, yep, thank you very much. And then on that date and time, you put the waste out and the council will come and collect it. That's a clinical collection. Bulky collection, depending upon your rules, you add all the items to your collection, what you'd like collected. The rules will say yes or no, you can't do that, the cost, the frequency, how much weight it is. And at the end of that service, it will say, right, for that collection, you have to pay £21.50, or for that service, you have to pay £155. The bulky collection service is different for every single customer, and it's all configurable rules engine to enable that to happen. So once you've made your payment, that's it. The mobile worker crew then turns up, collects the rubbish, and then continues. And then a fairly newish one is the recycling centre booking. So thanks to COVID, every customer now has to book a slot for a recycling centre. You log on, you select your day that you'd like to go, you put in your vehicle registration plate, and then you book your collection. There are very numerous rules around what you can do and what you can't do about that. Just need to check and see how that works. So that's recycling centre. And the final one is street cleansing. So there's two kind of versions of this. One's a scheduled collection, a scheduled cleansing, and the other is a responsive cleansing. So scheduled is Monday, you're going to clean road A, B, C, D, E. Tuesday, F, J, K, and so forth. So that's a regular cleansing cycle. It could be emptying bins, it could be cutting grass verges, it could be sweeping the gullies. It's up to you what you deemed the work to be. Responsive is where a customer phones up and says, there is a massive tree overhanging and I can't get past, please come and prune it. So that's where a customer reports an issue, the engine will risk rate it and then will assign a priority and an urgency. This then gets scheduled into the mobile workers schedule. They go and catch the work, deal with it, close it off, and they finish. So one's scheduled, routine, and one's responsive, ad hoc. So if you're still here and you haven't dropped off yet, I want to go on to a few demonstrations. So I want to do a demonstration on a special collection. So a special collection, bulky collection, depending on what you call it. This is where a customer goes online, adds some things to the basket, books, pays, and then has their collection done. I want to go on to a green garden subscription. So garden subscription, like I said, a period of certain months where the council will come and collect your garden waste, paid for service normally. If it's not paid for yet in your constituency, it is likely to be paid for. And if it is paid for now and you have a service in place, there is current consultation that will change, and there'll be limitations to how much you can charge and so forth. So we've got solutions around those as well we can go through. I want to go through managing a request. So once you've got something from a customer, what does it look like? And then the final bit, I want to go through the optimization and collection. So this is around optimizing your round. So you've got 1,500 properties to collect today. How do I optimize that data? How do I make sure I collect it in the most cost-effective method and also time-effective method? And then going out, actually collecting the waste and then delivering it back to the dump. So the first one I'm going to do is a special collection. So let me change screens. Okay, so this is the customer portal. I've logged in as a citizen. You can see on the right-hand side, there's some information about what I've done in the past, my bookings, my appointments, any service requests I've submitted, any payments that are due. I've got some information in the middle that tell me, how much council tax balance I owe, any planning applications, some real-time information, just some charts and graphs of how many tickets I've submitted and so forth. The left-hand side is where all my menus are, what I can do, what I can't do. So this is what we call the customer portal. So the first one I'm going to go through is a special collection. So I'm going to go to book it and a bulky collection. These are the different services I can book. So today it's going to be a bulky collection. Straight away I get a service request number generated. So if my screen crashed, the computer went down, I've got the ticket number already. I could get halfway through and think, you know what, this is just too difficult for me. I can phone the council up, I can give them that number, they can see the information that I've submitted here. So I'm going to select the date of the collection. Now, because I'm using a citizen's account, I've registered my information. It knows what my home address is. So it defaults my home address into the collection process. It then pulls back and gives me several dates. So these dates are a little bit kind of arbitrary. This is understanding where I live, and it's saying, right, based upon where you live, we will have a scheduled collection on these dates. So I can't pick any random date. It's only ones where you offer a collection on that day. So if I pick the 12th of July and then confirm that, it pulls back, there's one available, and it's from this time to that time. We can offer daily times, we can offer morning or afternoon, or we can even offer half-hour slots, depending on how we'd like to work. I then have the ability to select the group. So I want to say electrical appliance, and I select the item, a cooker, and then you'll notice here we've got the weighting. So the weighting is the size of the item comparable to the van. So if I have another one, and I'd like some furniture, and then we have a bed. So the bed's got a weighting of 2. Then we have another one, garden. Let's do shed. That's got one of 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4 items of weight I've added, and I've added 3 items of actual substance. At the top here, we've got the cost, £27. If I add one more, and then you can see the cost is going up as well. Depending upon the rules that you offer your citizens, that cost will change. It could be that if you offer a fridge, it's an extra cost. If you offer a recyclable item, it's a lesser cost. A weighting can be a 1, it can be a point, it can be as much as you want. Please provide any further instructions. So the rubbish. I've got some options here as well. So I can say I'm a registered assisted and I would like an assisted collection. Not all councils offer this, but if you want to offer further extras, you can offer them as options here. And then you've got some T's and C's about what you can do and what you can't do. So I'm happy with all of that. I click proceed, and then I get a little breakdown of what dates, what information I'm getting collected, what options I've selected, and the final price. I then click continue. I can add any evidence here, so I might have some photographs of it. It's quite handy to take a picture of what you'd like collected. And I may say shed, but actually it's a mobile home and it's huge. You seeing a picture of it may phone the customer up and say, sorry, this really isn't a shed and not something we want to deliver. Next, make a payment. So we have integrated into, 30 plus different payment gateways, and we've probably done them 200, 300 times to different payment gateways. So this is just a sample payment gateway that we're using. You name it, we have integrated into it. So whatever you want to go for, better. We'd really recommend going with GovPay. It's a really nice solution to work with, and being central government, obviously it's got some bells and whistles to play with. So I'm going to put in my card details. Confirm the payment, so £33. So the next one I want to go through is, let me change screens, garden subscription. So same thing with garden subscription. I want to log on, I want to request the subscription, I want to enter what I want collected, I want to upload any supporting evidence, submit the request, and then receive the subscription. Okay, so I'm going to go through to this. I'm going to search. So if I know what I'm looking for, I can go, right, garden waste, where does that sit? I can go, I want to pay for it, I want to apply for it. Quite often, you don't really know. So you can just do a search for what you're looking for here. So garden waste registration. There's a couple of other things you can do, and then off we go. And then we're straight into the process of registering for a garden subscription. Any information about what you can do, how much it costs, the frequencies, date and times, that's up to you to what you want to manage. The forms you see here are delivered off the shelf. So we come pre-packaged with, I'd say a council per se can offer, I think, 900 different processes. We have a form for every process you have. A waste process, you're probably looking around 30 different processes that we look to manage. All of our forms are provided as part of the solution, and if you don't like them, you can change them. So this is just our accelerator pack. You take this, you modify it, up to you, it's down to what you want to do. We also offer a service where any form that you design, create and build, you can press publish, and any one of our councils on the platform can download and consume your form. So a good example of that was with COVID. Everyone was creating their own COVID forms. We just sent out an email saying, look, go to the form store, do a search for COVID, and then everyone could see and share all the forms that everyone else had built. So they're not our hard work building them, they're yours. So there's no reason why we shouldn't look to share amongst other customers. So on the garden waste, I select how many containers I would like. So it's a green gardening collection. It's a 1-year contract, small container. If I wanted 2 containers, I could have 2, and the price goes up to 40. I select my address. The address can be for my personal address, or it can be for my neighbours or mother-in-law's. You don't have to order it for your particular location. And then if I do 100, you can view the terms, you can view the novation, termination policy, your cancellation policy. All this information is presented upfront to the customer so they can make an informed decision. They select that. Put in the telephone number. You'll notice the mobile number's pre-populated, the email's pre-populated. Because I've logged in as a registered customer, all this information the platform already knows, so it doesn't make you enter it twice again. And continue. Yet again, it knows who I am, where I live. It populates all the information. Continue. And then straight away off to the payment gateway again as well. So same thing again, click pay, and then the £18 with direct debit from that customer. We also do offer a direct debit solution as well. So if you have a direct debit solution, very popular for garden waste, very, very popular. Everyone's going to at the moment. This is something we can integrate into. We've done it to quite a few different areas now. We've just started working with GovPay for direct debits. So if you're interested in that, let us know. It's a really, really good solution they've got, and hopefully more people take it up. So direct debit's definitely the future on this. You can pick direct debit or you can pick credit card. You can probably choose cash, but I think in the last few months, everyone's turned away from that. So I save that, I submit it, everything's all done. Okay, so coming back to the next bit. So a customer submit this information now. So far, as a council, you might have to do anything. They've done all the work themselves. They've ticked boxes. They've paid for things. The system now has created a contract for that waste management. The system now has created a work order for the admin person to go and collect the rubbish. So at this stage, everything's been automated. But if we want to see what's actually happened to that, what it looks like, if we wanted to interfere and see how we manage that information, we have to log into the back end. So I'm going to change my hat, and I'm going to log into the back office now and show you how that looks and what you would see from a customer's perspective. Okay, so this is the back office application now. The branding's a little bit different. So this is what you as an administrator would see. All the different modules on the left-hand side. We're going to focus now on the service module. So when someone submits a request, you can see the information come through to your queue. These queues can be assigned by roles. So depending upon what your role is what you can see and what you can't see. Nicely color coordinated as well. So the open ones are new, they've just come in, no one's really picked them up yet. The orange ones are work in progress. These are all configurable as well. So you can choose the icon, you can choose the color, you can choose the branding. You know, you might not even like that. So you can change the view as well. So you can see where all the tickets are based upon a map rather than looking at it on a list view. Or if you don't like that, you can see, well, from a chart point of view, how we're looking. So the data is very, very flexible and is provided in a nice mechanism for you to view. So if I look at this one here, the bulky collection, if I drill down to that, so that was submitted yesterday. I can see the customer information. If it's an organization, i.e. from a business, I can see how it was submitted. I can see all the information the customer has submitted as part of that process. So what they're paying for, what they're getting. I can see the payment, how much they've paid, the reference number. Everything is managed in this. Any information submitted, the location, any notes. I can see there's a task here. So the system is generated a work order to deliver this service request. Any contracts, I can see the booking number, so I can see the booking number the customer used when they phoned up and they booked it, or when they went online and done it. Everything is nicely presented. I can find out everything I need, and there's no need to be phoning up people. It's all presented in one particular screen. If I just go to the view, I can see the history of this. So I just want to show you what happens behind the scenes. So the customer submitted the service request. The system automatically sent an email out. The system, there you can see, automatically changed the owner of this service request to Spencer Cooper. The system then updated a rule. The system then added one more task. The system then sent an email to the customer saying we're doing a rule. The user then changed it to this. The system then sent an email out. All the way here, you can see the system is doing the majority of the work. It's really trying to push the data out, take the burden away from you doing the work in a real-time automated way. So the status is currently work in progress. If I'm happy with that, I can actually move it on, or I can complete it. And then once I've completed it, it either disappears off my list as a service request. I haven't got to worry about it anymore, or it can continue because there's tasks there that have to carry on for the work to be delivered. So I've shown you the back office. I've logged into the admin portal. I've shown you the service desk. I've viewed the information. I've checked the history, and I've updated the request by changing the status. So it was a couple of minutes, but it's very, very quick to understand a request that's come in, understand what's happened to it, and then to push it on further within the process is very easy to do as well. So I want to move on to optimization and collection. So this is really the waste operative side of the business. So up until now, the customers are doing the hard work, and then the middle office is doing a little bit of work. Now we move on to the actual waste teams, what they're doing, how they're managing their things. So I want to show a couple of areas. So I want to go on to waste management, so for round management. Then I want to go into collection points, and then group management. So big words that you probably don't mean much now, but let me explain more in detail. So I want to change instance, and I want to move into round management. So let me log on. So I've logged into a different branded portal, so you can see how it looks and feels. Last time I went to service, this time I'm going to go to a waste. So I want to show round management first of all. So the way I do this, I go to options, and then I go down to manage around. So around is your grouped properties that you have to collect the refuge for that particular morning. So I want to select the round type first of all, which is refuge. And the day I want to look at is Thursday. The round is that one. And just because the data looks nice, I'm going to show you this particular day. I click go. So this pulls back now all of the houses and properties in this particular round on that particular day. So this is a bi-monthly, bi-weekly. So this is collected every 2 weeks. It's a refuge round. The round is a Thursday, and it's the 10th one on the day they do. So here are all the properties that we have to collect. Here's the house number, the name, what we have to collect. So collect one bin. I've got information about the properties. It's the property note. I've got street note, and I've got a special instruction about this particular collection as well. So all of the information is shown, which is great. So that's a nice list view. What I prefer to do is look at the map view. So the map view gives me a much better visual representation of what that round looks like. So if I zoom out, I forget the exact number, but I think there's about 1,000 properties on this round. So this is the whole of the round that I have to collect. I can see it, I can manage it all, very nice and simple. So let me drill back in now again. So you can see it clusters as well, so it downloads a lot faster. So if I click on one of these points, so this is the road, this is the service, I've got the USRN and the street reference number. I can see the USRN is the street here, and I can see the UPRN is the property here. So what our solution enables you to do is to define a collection point and to define a property point. So just because I live here doesn't mean the bin is going to be here. So we have the ability to point the actual bin where the collection will happen. So the property's there, the collection's there. You may live in a rural area and the property could be up a hill and the bin is miles away. So we route based upon the container itself, not based upon the property. We have quite a few different areas where, I suppose in this example here, you've got a house here, but you don't know whether you collect it from the back of the house or the front of the house. So we have the ability to the collection point based upon the house itself. You can even do multiple collection points. So you may collect the refuge from the front and you may collect the domestic from the rear. So we've got quite a few scenarios where that does actually happen. So that's a round, and then that is a collection point. To move a collection point is very easy. Some councils have this data already because they actually work on this. Others, they have to plot them from scratch. So it's a very, very effective way of managing how you collect around, and this aids the optimization to really ensure it's collected properly. So I want to jump back to the next bit I want to show you. So I want to cover the group management now. Okay, so our platform does a completely automated solution where it can optimize the collection based upon the day, the time, whether you've got school runs down there, whether there's certain property you don't want to collect, whether there's a certain vehicle you can't put down there. We do the optimization for you. It's scientifically calculated. It runs every night. You don't have to worry about it being ran. You log on, you set up your round, and then you press optimize. The rest manages itself. If for some reason you think our optimization isn't what you want, and there are certain circumstances I'll explain now where you do need a human eye to touch it up to the nth degree. So if I go on to waste and I go on to group management, so I've got a good example here. Okay. So here is something we call a group. So this is something that sits outside of the optimization. The whole of the round gets optimized, but when it comes to this particular group, it looks at it in a slightly different way. Our optimization works upon data. So if the data we receive from Ordnance Survey or yourself is incorrect, then we have to add our own layer to it. So I'll give you a good example here. So if I zoom in a bit more. So on this particular example here, this is kind of a cul-de-sac. It's a non-adopted street, so it isn't really something the council can drive down or fit a vehicle down. Google Maps will show you it's a road, and the optimization will say, yep, it's a road, we can put you down there. In reality, you can't drive down there. So every house here drags their container to the end of the road, and the refuse gets collected here. So in this example here, we are forcing the optimization to just go as far as this. We're not allowing it to go any further here. And then another example here, this is a rather large road. So you don't want to collect the left and the right hand side at the same time. You have to collect a single-sided collection only. So where the map data we get from Ordnance Survey shows that this is a kind of a single carriage road, in reality, it's a single carriage road with a reservation in the middle. The data would say, continue optimizing, this looks brilliant. In reality, you can't do it. So we override the optimization and we say, collect on the left-hand side first of all, then collect on the right-hand side. So group management allows you to take our optimization engine and then overlay your local knowledge which the crews will argue is always the right answer. So overlaying your knowledge with our optimization will give you a true optimized round based upon little nuances that you just technically you can't define. Okay, and that's probably it for the platform bit. I want to jump onto the mobile worker side now. So what does the guy in the cab see when he's driving around? So you can all see that, fantastic. So how does it work? So the mobile worker, the waste operative gets in his cab, he opens his mobile app, and the first thing he does is he selects his the collection day, he selects the round that he's working on and the type of refuge, and then he clicks go. So just showing you how simple it is. So this is mirroring what I've done via the back end, trying to find the data. This is now what the mobile worker does on the mobile device. Downloads the data, and depending on how much data you've got to download, you're looking at between 10 and 40 seconds to download 1,000, 1,500 different rounds. So the information is downloaded, it's stored locally on that device, and then it's down to the operative then to continue doing what they want to do. So at that point, they don't need to be online. Everything is locally stored. So you can see here all the information gets downloaded. So this is a property, another property, another property. You've got various icons on the left-hand side. I'll explain what they do now. So the tick means you've physically driven past that location. So you've come within 20, 30, 40, 50 meters of a container. The hand means it's a assisted collection. So you have to go and check the bin. The picture of a landscape, that is a street note, a property note, and a collection note. So those are information that the driver must be aware of to effectively collect this information. And then the number of containers they have to collect. There's a bin icon with a number 1, 2, or 3, or 4. So that is the list view of what we offer. I want to show you the vehicle management and optimization side of things now. So this is the same information downloaded, and all you do is press a button and say map view, and then it jumps to the map view, the turn by turn instruction. You can see on the left hand side, as you're driving down the road, the green icon saying you've been there is getting highlighted. So that's telling you, yep, you've been there, you've been there, you've been there. The red icon you can see shows you there was a street note. And as you come up to that street, the note is then displayed in the top right hand corner. And you can see the vehicle traversing down the road. The collection you're currently working on, so the one you're actively doing at the moment, is highlighted red. These are all configurable. You can make them as hard as you want. And the top there, you can see school area, shops area, residence area, drive-through. So the street note is being displayed to the driver. You can have it read out as well, so you can hear the information. You don't have to watch this. You can blank it off and just listen to the navigation instructions. Should you get to a point where you don't want to collect something because it's contaminated, all you do is click on the task, and then you get the ability to go contaminated and then what the reason is. So within 2 taps, you can say contaminated rubble, contaminated asbestos, contaminated nuclear waste, whatever you want to say, you can capture. And then that information, as soon as there is a signal from that device to the internet, it will upload that data. Now, we want to offer real-time information, but there is a balance. So every single time a mobile worker says, yep, I've done that house, they can go on and say, yep, done that, and then it uploads to the cloud. It would take them a lot longer doing this. So what we'd recommend is only mark off the ones where it's an issue. And then when you get to the end of the street or the end of a section, then you say, right, everything else I've collected is complete. So it could get to the stage, by the time the driver's got to the end of the street, the council citizen can phone up and report a missed bin, because we know at that stage it has been missed or it hasn't been missed. And if they wanted to, they could view any evidence. The worker could even take a photograph of the reason why it wasn't collected, whether it wasn't pulled out or whether there's contamination. They can do all those things. They can even do things like marking a bin as broken. As soon as you mark it up as broken, another job in the background runs, and then it sends a crew to come and pick up the bin and replace it with a new one. So all of this is automated by the cab driver himself. You don't have to then manually do these areas. Once I've marked everything off as closed, the contact center can see this as well, and then they can see a live and real-time update of what's going on. And the final bit I just want to show. Where is it? And then here you can just see an example, an assisted collection. The blue hand there indicating that that needs to be collected via someone who's disabled or so forth. That was a very quick whistle-stop tour of what we do. I want to spend literally 3 minutes just covering every other feature we do. Just food for thought, but it just should hopefully inspire you to understand what we do more often. So communications, we're a big fan of SMSs. If you want to send out daily alerts around SMSs, you can notify all of your customers, tomorrow's your bin day, don't forget to pull your bin out. That's something that's quite popular. They get the bin delivery note, they pull it out, they manage everything going forward. Missed collections automation, when a customer wants to report a missed bin, they go online, they put in their address, it tells them what they can report as missed. So if the system says you're not allowed to report this as missed, it's done factually. We know that we've gone down that road, we've got evidence that it hasn't been collected because of this reason. Or if we do all our checks and say, yep, it has been missed, we then allow the customer to do this. This will stop customers erroneously reporting a collection as missed when there hasn't been any issues. So we don't have to worry about that anymore. This whole process is automated. If you didn't want to answer the phone call anymore, what the system says is fact. If we've marked it off as done, the customer can obviously report it as missed because we are saying it's been done. So this is the first time you can truly mark it off and accept that's been the case. Another big software solution we offer is container movement. This is where if you want to get your container fixed, you want to buy a new one, want to repair an existing container, you want another container, the customer goes online, they can manage, they can see what bins and containers they have available to them as a household. So we have lots of rules around if you've got more than 5 people living in a house, you can actually book a larger container. The system will check and see how many people live in your house, and if you've got the right number, it will offer you that larger container. So the container movement is completely automated. We even offer solutions where if you've got an existing stock of containers, as second-hand containers, customers can buy and purchase the second-hand ones. So it's all done automated. There's no check-in, there's no one to get involved anymore. The customer manages this themselves completely. Another big thing we offer is known by bin day. This is where you can go online, you can select the address you want to check, and it tells you what your bin day is. Back in the good old day when every Tuesday your bins were collected, it was nice and easy. Now it's every other day it's a green, and on a Friday it's a red one, and on a Tuesday if the moon's shining it's a Saturday afternoon. Customers are really struggling now to know when their bin days are. So this enables them to look up very simply when their bin day is, and then if they subscribe to the text messaging service, they can download that text, they can view it, and it tells them when to put it out. There is also another offer we do where they can click on a calendar view, and what it will do is download the calendar to their mobile phone or their laptop, and they will get a calendar reminder locally based upon all this information that's gone on. So you don't have to worry about when your collection is, it's all going to be done online. So I think that's probably enough of what we wanted to cover. There are lots more we can offer. There are lots more processes we can go through. I think for an introduction to what we do, and hopefully you found it interesting enough that you're willing to have a conversation with us further. If not, you know what you've learned, take it away and see if you can apply it to your own solutions. If there are any questions, do ping them through to us. If there are any further guidance you'd like, then drop us a line. We will send these out to you. You've already signed up for it, and this information is available for you to view after the call has finished. So thank you all very much. Hopefully you got what you wanted out of that, and keep in touch for further information.